Okay, friends, welcome to this session. Today, in this session, we are going to discuss how to define zones and their thermal properties. When you have constructed the building, we already discussed that how to assign the properties of the building envelope parameters. In the previous sections, we discussed how to assign the parameters for window or your fenestration, how to assign parameters for your wall, how to assign parameters for your roof. And once you have assigned and constructed the building, the next level is to define some other parameters, that how many occupants are occupying the building. What are the different zones within the buildings? Okay, you have to define what type of HVAC system it is using. Whether you want to go into the detailed HVAC design mode, this is the section where you can even define the detailed parameter, or you just want to give a typical COP level of HVAC system. Maybe your HVAC is not yet finalized. Even the ventilation rate of fresh air within the building will also matter. So here you can also define what are your air exchanges, how much fresh air you are providing in the building. Then you can also define the internal heat gains. Internal heat gains can be through people, how many number of occupants, what are their activity levels. You can also define the LPD, that is the lighting power density within the building, because the lighting will also lead to the increased heat gain. If there are some processes or some electrical equipments or miscellaneous loads which are generating heat, that is also affecting as an overall internal heat gain in the building. So that also can be assigned in this section. So we would like to take you through different sections right at the software, and you can feel that how to do all these things in a sample building.
Let's get started and walk together through software. Today, we're going to show you how to define an HVAC system in Apache SIM of the software. This is where you'll be working with the HVAC systems. Once you open the software, click on the Apache SIM. Within the Apache SIM, look for the Tools menu in the taskbar. Click on Tools, and from the drop-down, select Building Template Manager. In the Building Template Manager, you'll find various options related to thermal properties and system assignments. Click on the Thermal Properties option to access the settings related to HVAC systems and other thermal parameters. Inside the Thermal Properties section, you will find different options related to system assignment, space conditions, internal gains, and comfort settings. Start by selecting the Systems tab. Here you might see the existing system and space assignments. Typically, there will already be a default system and space assigned. In our case, we have defined an office space. To add more spaces, you can look for a plus sign within the interface. Click on the plus sign and a new space is added, as shown in the video. Here I have added kitchen by changing the default name. After adding a new space, you need to configure its properties. As you can see on the screen, we are going to define the Apache systems. To explore, we will get into details of this system. Proceed to the System Data Wizard section. This is where you'll define and configure the details of your chosen HVAC system. Within the System Data Wizard, you'll have various options for selecting different HVAC systems. As shown, we have chosen the VRF, variable refrigerant flow system. After selecting the VRF system from the dialog box, you need to adjust various settings to configure the system according to your requirements. These settings might include heating and cooling capacities and set points for the system to meet the thermal needs of the spaces. System adjustments fine-tune the system parameters related to efficiency, performance, and operation. This might include settings for defrost cycles, compressor staging, and fan operation, metering provisions, Set up metering and measurement options for tracking energy consumption and performance. Ventilation settings are to ensure adequate fresh air intake. While configuring the system, you should adjust parameters in alignment with ASHRAE guidelines and as shown in the video, put values according to these guidelines to ensure energy efficiency, indoor air quality, and occupant comfort. Once you've adjusted the settings in the system, you'll likely have the option to save or add this system to your list of defined FAQ systems. The HVAC systems section is where you will manage and choose from the available systems for different spaces in your building. Make sure to save these changes as per requirements. As you can see in the video demonstration, in the System tab within the same dialog box, you will find fields for entering values related to heating and cooling parameters. As per your system description, here we have defined this space as kitchen. You'll also find a field for flow rate. In this case, the flow rate value is mentioned as 0.6. This value of 0.6 represents a specific flow rate that is used in accordance with ASHRAE standards 6.1 and 9.0. It's important to note that flow rate is a critical parameter for HVAC systems as it affects how much air or refrigerant is being circulated through the system. After entering the necessary values for heating, cooling, and flow rate, make sure to save or apply the changes within the dialog box. Now moving forward, we will select space conditions. Within the space conditions section, you will find options to modify various parameters related to temperature control. We will focus on setting the set points for heating and cooling. Set the set point to a constant value. Also have the option to access model settings for additional modification. Depending on the specific needs of your project, customize the system parameters and settings to match the specific requirements of your building and the operational needs. Ensure that you save or apply the changes within the dialog box. Let's proceed with the steps to configure internal gains. In the dialog box, navigate to the internal gains option. Within the internal gains section, you'll have the option to add different types. For example, in the kitchen area, we have chosen fluorescent lighting. Click on it. You also need to change specific parameters such as maximum sensible gain. Change this parameter. As shown in the video, you also have the option to add more equipment types. Add it to the list and select OK to save your changes. The internal gain types you've defined and configured will be added to the system. As you can see, you can continue adding more system types like cooling equipment to the system. For each type, adjust the relevant parameters and settings according to your requirements. Ensure that you've added all the defined parameters to the system template. This ensures that the gains are properly accounted for in the energy simulation. Remember to save your changes to the configuration. Moving on, let's head to the Air Exchange tab. Here you have the opportunity to make impactful adjustments. You can easily add or modify the parameter for maximum air changes per hour. Next, let's dive into the comfort settings. As shown in the video, we've aligned the values with ASHRAE 55 standards to ensure optimal comfort conditions. These standards help create an environment where occupants feel both productive and comfortable. Once you're satisfied, simply click OK to confirm your selections. Lastly, don't forget to save your progress along the way. These steps ensure accurate simulation results and a comfortable indoor environment.
So like this, we have learned that how we can define different zones, the number of occupants within the building, what are the activity level of those people within the building, how much is the lighting power density, what type of HVAC system or its COP can also be defined. So we have learned how we put those values in our system. We have also learned how to define the fresh air, air exchanges and ventilation rates within the occupied areas. I am sure these things are very important while doing the simulation. And in the next session, we will be learning more about this, especially on scheduling of different activities. How building is occupied in weekdays, how building is occupied on weekends. So please continue with us for the next session.